Hello, this is Kate from dailytarotgirl.com, and this is your weekly oracle card reading. Normally I use tarot for these readings, but today I'm switching it up and I'm using an oracle deck, and I'm using the Oracle of the Essences. This is actually one of my favorite oracle decks to work with out of all the many oracle decks that I own. So I'm going to start by drawing 3 cards. And each card is going to represent a portion of the upcoming week. And this is just to get kind of an overview of the energies and themes that are on the horizon for us this week. All right, so let's begin with the first card. This is the card for Monday and Tuesday of the upcoming week. All right, and we have black pepper. So each card is like a spice or an herb or a flower. So we have black pepper, which represents destructive patterns. And I feel like if this was a tarot deck, this may be the devil. It has kind of that sort of type of energy to it. All right, so the beginning of the week is an opportunity to bring some consciousness and awareness to some of the destructive patterns that we have. And I'm really getting a sense of shadow work here with this card, like the importance of doing shadow work at the beginning of the week. And it's almost like the more deeply you go into doing that shadow work, and by shadow work I mean shining a light on the dark places inside yourself. So this is your tendencies, like your destructive patterns. This is kind of some of your negative personality traits, the things that you struggle with, the things that you, in a sense, maybe don't like about yourself, and the things that you want to keep hidden. What's interesting with this card is the guy he's taking off. Well, maybe he's putting on the mask or maybe he's taking it off, but it's this idea that we, many times, it's so common to put on a mask when we go out into the world and interact with people. We're not always our true, whole, authentic selves. And it's not necessarily that we're being fake, it's just that we're not revealing all our entire self. You know, we're choosing what we're going to reveal and what we're going to keep secret. But sometimes we even do this to ourselves. So it's one thing to keep a part of yourself secret and hidden from the world, but it's a different thing to keep that part of yourself hidden and secret from even yourself. So this is the idea that, you know, subconsciously there's things going on that even we, our conscious waking selves, are not really aware of. It's like we've managed to hide this part of ourselves so well that even we have forgotten about it. So this card of black pepper and destructive patterns is encouraging you to go deep within and to uncover some of those tendencies within yourself. And how do you do that if they're so hidden, if they're so subconscious? First of all, pay attention to your destructive patterns. This is the entry point for doing shadow work, is pay attention to the things that you keep recreating in your life, or the mistakes that you keep making again and again. And that is your entry point. That's where you want to begin. Because your destructive patterns, even if they don't make sense to your conscious mind, your subconscious, the subconscious part of yourself, knows why those destructive patterns are there. And you're getting something out of it, or else you wouldn't keep doing it. Because you're an intelligent soul, and there's a reason why you keep engaging in those destructive patterns. And so this is a very powerful card, I think, to get for the beginning of the week. And it's saying that the deeper you go with this, I think the more of an effect it's going to have on the rest of the week. But let's see what the other cards are. So the middle of the week, so like Wednesday, Thursday-ish, we have dill, which represents rapid development. Okay, nice. So that really makes sense with the whole thing that I just said about, you know, the more you delve into your shadow side, the more you excavate and look at and shine a light on your destructive patterns, the quicker you're going to be able to develop yourself, the quicker you're going to be able to move forward and become whole and integrated. And my attention, as soon as I turned this card over, was immediately to the Black Panther, right here. And what's interesting is on the black pepper card, there's, a black cat, there's a wolf, looks like a crow, a spider, bats, and they're all in shadow. They're all dark figures. And the Black Panther here in this card is a dark figure, but he is integrated into the scene. So it's like he's come to the forefront. You can see him clearly. He's still dark though. He's still a shadow aspect, but he's come out into the full sun. So here we see the moon. Here we have the sun. So this is about shining a light on those aspects and integrating those darker, maybe dysfunctional parts of ourself. And what I love here is how colorful everything is. We have what do you call this bird? A parrot. There's plants, there's other little animals, there's a waterfall, and the Black Panther is there amongst everyone. It's like you fully accepted this part of yourself. So I feel like midweek, there's going to be opportunities for advancement. And I'm thinking that number one, this is about kind of inner advancement, like spiritual advancement and becoming more whole and integrated within yourself as a result of the shadow work that you might do at the beginning of the week. But that is also going to be reflected in your outer life. So there may be opportunities for advancement in your regular day-to-day life in a non-spiritual kind of context. All right, let's look at the card for the end of the week, the weekend. This is for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And here we have Magnolia. So interesting, we started with a spice, then we got to an herb, now a flower. And I think that's kind of an interesting progression because black pepper, think of that, it's like a really strong, spicy spice. And when you think of your shadow side, that's what brings the spice to life. Those destructive patterns, as painful as they might be for you, also bring an element of drama and spice to your life. Dill is an herb, and so it's more gentle than black pepper, but it still has flavor. And then here we have a flower, and to me the flower kind of symbolizes some kind of spirituality or spiritual unfolding, like an unfolding of consciousness. Now Magnolia represents stillness and dignity, and I feel like you can't really truly have dignity until you have integrated all parts of yourself, until you've integrated that shadow side and accepted and brought attention to those parts of yourself. I think as long as you keep parts of yourself hidden from yourself and deny certain parts of yourself, it's hard for you to have dignity. And Magnolia is also about stillness. So I feel like there is this beautiful progression this week from, excavating ourselves and going into the yucky places. And that's with, the first card. And then midweek, it's like there's this, and it's not like this week you're going to like totally embrace your shadow and everything's going to be perfect, because these things take time. You can't do these things in the matter of, 1 or 2 days, but it feels like healing is starting to occur with this card. There's this feeling of wholeness, which feels really, really beautiful to me. And the wings of the bird, it's like you're taking flight. I think this card is so beautiful. And then with the Magnolia, we have this unfolding. And what's cool is that there's the phases of the moon. So I mentioned that there's the full moon with this card, there's the sun here, and here we have the phases of the moon. And I think that really speaks to the natural phases that we go through in our day-to-day life. There's a time to do shadow work, and there's a time to not do that kind of work, right? There's a time for growth. There's times for healing. There's times for rest. There's times where we aren't going to be doing any growth, healing, or rest. Maybe we're going to be, deep in our destructive patterns, but there's time for all of this, and we're all on this sort of cycle. What else do I want to say about Magnolia? I think that this weekend is a perfect opportunity to focus on spiritual practices, like focusing on meditation and finding stillness. If you can connect with nature in some way, noticing the stillness in nature. And even if you can't get outside, even if you can't go to a park or a forest. You know, if you have houseplants, see if you can sit with your houseplants and meditate with your houseplants. Or if you have crystals, you know, sit with your crystals. All right, so I'm just going to look at all... Oh, actually, you know, one thing I want to say about Magnolia, as I mentioned the phases of the moon, it looks like there's sunlight behind her. I mean, there isn't an obvious sunlight, but it's like it's clearly broad daylight. And I love how there's sort of this integration of the moon aspect and the sun aspect with that last card. So as always, I invite you to share your own ideas and interpretations of these cards. So please feel free to do so in the comment section below. And I hope that you have a good week. I hope that you're doing well. I hope that you're keeping safe and healthy. And thank you so much for watching. Oh, and if you're interested in learning more about tarot and oracle card reading, you can check out my site, dailytarotgirl.com. And if you like this reading, I post these every week, so consider subscribing to my channel.